Yes.
Yeah, I start defining.
Yes. Right.
So we'll cover map designer introduction and parts of the map designer and how to create the map step by step example. So we know already for the parts of map. So and then introduction. WTX Design Studio. It is an Eclipse-based development environment that integrates the map designer functionality along with that designer. So do you know this? Basically, the WTX tool is developed using Java Eclipse-based environment. So
Okay.
it's not like you have to do only the WTX. Even it will support the Java basic Java projects also. And also because of this Eclipse-based environment, it has integrated the designer studio. Then whatever the design functionalities along with type designer, both type tree and map designer functionalities have been integrated under design studio. The previous versions
Okay.
like 8.1, the type tree is different, map is different. Now they have integrated both from 8.2 version, integrated both type tree and map along under design studio.
Okay.
And map designer uses the definitions of the data stored in the type trees to specify transformation logic in the form of map rules. So what is map is nothing but it uses the definitions of data. Where will you create the definitions of data? Will create in the type trees. So
Mm-hmm.
map will use the type trees in order to read the data and as well as to write the data by using the mapping rules. We will write the mapping rule to transform the logic from input to output. So map designer is nothing but it will uses the type trees and using the mapping rules it will do the transformation from input to output. Create maps to specify the logic necessary to transform the input data to desired output data. So basically, just we will write the map inputs in order to do the transformation. Next, identify the source and data objects of input data. Once you select the type tree, you have to you have to select the type of the your message data. In the type tree might be having multiple structures. So you have to identify what is your component or what is your data object or what is your in the type tree perspective, what is your type. You have to identify the type of your data object for both input and output. See, identify the source data object, identify the target data object. Source means input, target means output data.
Okay.
Validate and resolve the source data type properties defined in the type designer. Basically, to validate resolve means it's basically logic. Once you created that, it's basically it belongs to type designer property. We have to analyze the type for logical and syntax errors. Then specify and build the output data according to map rules. So it's nothing but you complete the mapping rules and then build the map to see is there any errors or any rules has been left. So once you completed your mapping rules at the output side, you have to build a map so that if there are any errors, it will show in the error saying that there are errors are found. What is the error? Everything it will show. If there are 100 errors, it will show 100 lines for what are the 100 errors. So shall we go for next?
Yes.
So here is just basically a screenshot how it looks like. This is here under one map source file there are three maps have been created. So 270 data analysis, 34 data analysis, and then something try audit. And here the map will be having input cards and output cards. This is sum and two. And then here input is having two input cards, outputs are four output cards. It is not like you have to have one input card, one output card. You can have n number of input cards and n number of output cards, and also it is not like mandatory you have to do the mapping from both input cards, like it's not like one to one. If you have one input card, two input cards, you can have only one output card. That output will be created from two input cards. You can do like that. Or you have only one input card, you can have four output cards.
Okay.
Like four output cards might be four outputs might have been sent to target data, or it might be like that. Only one output will be sent. First remaining three output cards will be used for fourth output card, like something filtering or something pre-processing the cards. Something we can do using those first three output cards, we can create the actual output in the fourth output card. But first three input cards we won't be sent to target. I'll show you how to do that. If you put the sync, the data won't be sent to anywhere, just it will be hold it in the memory. There will be put adapter, right? Previously we saw file adapter. Like that, there will be sync. Sync means it won't create the physical file, it will just hold the data. So we put the sync adapter for first three output cards, and then for fourth output card. That means that is the actual output. We put the file. So the only one output will be created, even though the map is having four output cards. And this is the mapping rules.
Okay. Search up.
But what is shown?
No, nothing.
Okay.
No,
Then
search is right?
okay. Then parts of the map. So parts of the map, it is having from and to window, contains one more part. So this is the from window, this is the to window. So it will be having input card. This side it will be having output cards.
Okay.
Each card is a data object associated with one type tree. So every input card will be it's like data object associated with one type tree. The from window contains a card for each of the data objects that you are mapping from your input. So from window is basically will be having the input cards, and to window contains a cards for each of the data that you are mapping to. That means it will be having two output cards. That means to where we have to do the mapping. The cards in the two window contains two columns, the data object and the mapping rule provided the logic to do this. So, saying that two window has having two columns. The left side is field name and the right side is mapping rule. So, what is the mapping rule? To populate the data for this field. So, every field should be mapped. You shouldn't leave any field blank. If you leave the blank when you build a map, say error like empty rule cell. Rule is required. Even though there is no mapping, you have to map none.
Okay.
Next, map provide information about data validation by generating the trace file. So, if we want to generate the trace file, as we saw in the map setting, we have to switch on the trace. So that is also one of the part of the map. Then view the run results of the map execution. So it's basically once the trace files, output files, everything up to now what we have done, you have seen in the Notepad++. But there is an option to view all these files in the WTF Designer Studio itself. But because I generally prefer to open in Notepad++ or Ultra Edit, because if we in the there won't be much options if we open it here in the Designer Studio, and the space also it will be very less. So,
Okay.
but there is an option we can see the trace files, audit files, output files, input files in the Designer Studio itself. That is the meaning.
Okay.
It provides so we can view the run results of the map execution. Even we can view the trace files, log files, everything we can view.
Okay.
Then the map can be built for specific platforms. Then run on that platform to perform the transformation of data. That means you can do the development of map in Windows operating system. Once you complete the development of map, you can build the map for any platform. There will be option whether do you need to build this map for Windows server or Linux server or IBM AX server, ZOS server, like that, etc. So IBM WTX has provided the capability for us. You can build the map, you develop the map, in Windows, and you run the map or across any platform. This means platform independent.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yes.
And when you build a map using the following files will be created. I mean, when you build a map, MMC will, that is compiled version. But when you build a map for other operating system, the extension will be different. Suppose if you build a map for IBM AX, well, it will create with .AIX. If you create for the LNX, it will be .LNX. Like that, it will be creating different extensions. When you build a map, extension will be different. By default, MMC is for Windows. So
Oh,
when you move to AX server or Linux server, just you rename the LNX file to MMC. And there are two important points in map design. One is map rule, functional map. So we saw already one scenario where when we choose the functional map, we saw right functional map. The color will be
yes.
sky blue color, functional map.
Mm-hmm.
If we use functional map, we'll see in later slides. What are the scenarios where we have to create the functional map? So if you have any questions, shall I go for next?
Yes. Go for next.
So next one is mapping rule. So map rule. A map specifies how to generate a particular output data object or multiple independent objects, each of a particular type. Each output card has a rule column in which you enter the map rules. So it's nothing but a map specifies how to generate a particular output data object. So a mapping rule will specify how to generate or how to populate data for a particular object, or if there are multiple objects, the mapping rule will specify the how to populate or generate the data for that objects or multiple objects. So that basically mapping rule will specify how to create the data for that field or for that groups. So
Okay.
the mapping rule can be a hard coded values, that means literals, or it can be a just tx functions. So the mapping rule can be either hard coded value or a built-in functions, like whatever current date time, current date, like that, or object names. So object names is nothing but from input, or
Oh,
it
from.
can be a
Mm.
functional map references. Functional map references means you can create the functional map one time. So across your project, assume that you are having some project, you have created one functional map. So later, that functional map can be referenced in any of the future development. It's like mostly commonly used for a common functionality, subrouting kind of thing. You create
Okay.
one
Like.
functional map, common functional map, that can be reused in any of the source maps. Any of some tomorrow hundreds of the maps you can use the function map. If both input and output cards are same for that functional map, it's mainly used for some common functionals. It purely depends on the data, your architecture of your project. Suppose in our project, we have to create, once you do the mapping, once you completed the mapping for your output card, we have to create the response card. The functionality of that response card is it will put in the target target directory. That target will get differ each time. So in that case, we have created the function map. That function map will accept the argument. Like first argument is actual data, second argument is what is the directory we have to put, or some the next, third and fourth directory. So that function map will execute it will take the actual data directories, everything, it will put in the target directory, and that will do the archiving, so on, so here always we have to create the same functionality, same function map. So instead of creating the function map for every map, what we can do is you can create the function map under one map, and you can put it somewhere in the version control. Later For all your future maps, you can reuse that functional. You can reference that functional map instead of again creating the functional map. You can refer that functional map. We'll see that. Okay.
Okay. Then can we use outside the map source also?
Yes, that's
Like
what. Outside the map,
the
you can refer.
and then outside the folder also. Like if it's a one project, we can refer to the other project.
Yes, you can do.
Oh. Then where it is like stored somewhere in the Eclipse or in the studio?
In the workspace, we will be having that project. The project
Oh,
has
workspace.
workspace.
But when we deploy that time,
When you deploy that map, it is not required because when you build a map, it will automatically integrate that code also.
okay, it will import that. Okay, it will import the function map also.
Yes.
Where from wherever.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Then a map rule begins with equal sign followed by expressions that evaluates to data. The maximum length of map rule is 32K, 32,000 length of characters,
okay.
including non-printable characters. Okay, shall we go for next or do you have any doubt here?
No, it's fine. Like again, map we can't use, right? Map executable map we can't use outside the.
No, I'm not getting.
No, it's fine, fine. No,
Nothing.
only functional map only we can use, not executable map and
No. Only functional map.
only functional.
Yeah, you can. The other you can reference. This is for coding. Suppose if you
Okay.
want to call other map from your map, you can do that using run function. We have called run function. Using the run
Okay.
function, you can call from one map from another map.
Okay. One map, not the map source, right? Only maps, right? Map source.
Pardon?
Map source is just a package, right? Map source.
Map, map is judging what it's you do the transformation from one. It's like one
No. Map source. We like a
from
run function.
map source.
Yeah, run function will call the maps, right?
No,
Not
it's
map
not
source,
source.
right?
It will call executable map. We have to call executable
Excellent.
MMC,
Okay.
not source map.
MMC.
Executable.
Okay. Okay.
It's basically the run function. It's base. It will call executed because we are executing another map. So we have to give the MMC, not MMS. MMS is source
Okay.
code alone. In order to run we using run function, we will executable or we will run the another map. So we have to give the compiled map, not source
Okay.
map.
Mhm.
We have to give the full path of the executable map. If both maps are present in different paths. Otherwise, if we don't give the path, it will assume that the map is present in the same folder where your current map is executing.
Okay.
Then mapping
Yeah.
items. If your output object is an item, enter the map rule at item level. So we have seen that item. We have three classes, right? I mean item, group, and category. You will do the
Yes.
mapping for either item or group. So if your output object is item, we have to enter the rules at item level. Suppose mapping group occurs once. If output object is a group that occurs exactly once, enter the map rule at group or component level. So if your output is only item, we have to only one item, we have to do the mapping rule at item level. Suppose if your output object is a group, that group is having 5 fields and that group will occur only once. Is nothing but whatever we have said record, only one record. If there is only one record, either you can write the mapping rules at item levels or at group level. At group level, how can you write? Suppose if your both input group and output group are same type and same type, you can do one-to-one mapping at group level. Suppose if it is different group, we have to write the functional map, and within the functional map, we have to do the mapping rule.
Okay.
Then mapping groups in a series. Suppose if your group or item can occur more than once, decide how many occurrences are to be built. If there are no number, you can add the index and create. Suppose if you don't know how many number of times that occurrence will come, in that case you have to write the functional map. So the one use of function map is if both input group and output group are different, you have to write the function map even though it's once occurrence. Suppose if your item or group is occurring multiple times, you don't know how many times it will occur. In that case also you have to write the functional map. So clear?
Yes, yes.
So map designer map input data object to map input object to output object.
No,
Map
once again you can repeat that function map.
function map. Okay.
Yeah.
See here, mapping group occurring once. Suppose think about whatever we created the output type yesterday. In record is having 5 fields: first name, last name, at output side, and we added that record to again file. File is nothing but multiple records, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Now we have to do the mapping for only record. I forget about file. This is mapping the group are occurring once. Yeah, I'm but taking this scenario. Mapping group occurring once. That means what we are doing the mapping for, we selected in the output card, we selected only record. So that means
Mhm.
they are occurring once. In that case, you can do the mapping at either item level or group level. That is the first point.
Okay.
Because occurring only once, so you can do mapping at either item level or group level. When
Okay.
you do the simpler way, you can do at item level. Suppose if you want to do at group level, what you can do it, you can write functional map, or you can do one group to group mapping. When it is possible to do group to group mapping, tell me. I already told you, right?
Yeah, when the type trees are same, right?
No, not only type is are same. The other point. The other point is both types are also should be same, right? Suppose if I take
Yeah.
the record in and record out, you can't do the mapping from record in to record out. Both types also should be same. That means
Yeah.
when you select the type, when you create that card, the types also should be same at input card and output card. Then only it is possible to do the mapping from group to group.
Okay.
Clear, right? That point.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Suppose now that group is different from input to output, then you can't do mapping, one-to-one mapping, group to group. You can't do record to record. You have to write the
Mm.
function map and pass as an argument for that function map. Then inside the function, you have to do the mapping.
Okay.
Clear now? Occurring once.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now the other mapping groups in a series. Series means this is multiple occurring more than once.
Okay.
So now more than once means here.
Yes.
Suppose if we know that how many number of times it will occur, how many number of times we have to create. Suppose in some cases, the mapping document will say that create once, create twice, create thrice, like that. Suppose if we know that how many number of occurrences will come, you can add the index and do the mapping, either by field level or group level, whatever we discussed.
Okay. We need to add an index, right?
Yeah, we can add the index. Suppose if the group is record, yes, right click, there will be option add index. I think we
Mhm.
already saw. I'll show you again.
Okay.
Suppose in the output we selected the output card. It is we selected the file. So file is nothing but entire structure. Record yes will be
Yes.
there, right. So when you click
Yes.
record, right click, there will be option will come add index. So when you add the index, the first object will be record of 1. Then you add another index, it will become record 2. So you can do the mapping at record 1 index, record 2 index, at item level or group level. Suppose
Okay.
if we are not sure how many number of times we have to create the output, in that case we can go for functional map. Here also same thing again. Suppose if your input record is same type as output, you can do the direct mapping. even
Yes.
if it is a S occurrence. Suppose if it is different, you have to write the function map. Similarly, like occurring once, this is also same thing. The only thing is
Okay.
we can add the index. If we know that how many number of times we have to create it.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Then these are some simple mapping rules. So what type of mapping rules? One is simple one-to-one mapping. Map the input object to output object. Or the second one is extract input records based on specific criteria. That means suppose input is having some 1000 records, but output side we have to filter it based on some criteria. Suppose assume that we have to extract the records where the date of birth is our age is above 28, above 18 years. So we can do that using extract function. We can extract the records. We will. I'll show you how to extract. Then count a conditional number of records. That means how many records are there for some particular criteria. There are we can do the count of, suppose if we want the record between 18 ages, something between 18 to 28, or the ages there are how many records are having age 19 years, 20 years, like that. In that extended example I'm taking. So we can do
Okay.
the count of records. Then map input record based on specific qualifier to specific output record. It's like ANSI. If you take the ANSI X12, there will be multiple N1 segment or rep segment. The qualifier will get changed for each segment, like RF rep segment A, B, C, D, like something like that. Similarly, for N1 segment, S, T, P, Y, like that will come. So, while doing the mapping at output level, they will mention, like they won't they will I mean, because you know that N1 segment will occur multiple times at input. So we can do the mapping out output side based on the qualifier. Even though there are 10 N1 segments with different qualifier, we can do mapping for only the required qualifier. So that is also possible based on specific qualifier. Next one is, so clear, right? So
Yeah.
can
Specific qualifier means like N1, and again it may have like some other parameter, like N1 is like address thing, right? Mostly.
it's basically, if we take the ANSI actual example, the N1 is a loop
Oh,
it.
loop. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
that loop will be having multiple segments again, N1, N2, M3, N4, rep segment,
Okay.
PER segment, something like that. But
Okay.
for each loop, the N1 qualifier will get different. For one, like, at the input side, for one loop it will be ST. ST means ship to, by B means
Okay.
buyer. So who is the shipper? Who is the buyer? Who is the vendor? Vendor means we.
Okay.
So at output side, you may need to do the mapping for only buyer or vendor, or at different places. For one place you have to do the mapping for shipment, for another place vendor. So based on that your mapping, you can look up for shipment shipper. So this will be achieved by using lookup function. Simplest is lookup. So you can, the lookup functionality, it will return the first occurrence of matching criteria. So it will just for, in the input side it will check for the qualifier, and it will return enter whatever you select. If we select N1 segment, it will return N1 segment. If we select loop, it will return N1 loop alone. I mean loop, entire loop. So basically the loop will be having multiple segments, N1, N2, M3, M4, rep, PER, so on so. So that is
Okay.
possible. We can look up for specific specific loops or specific records, even though there are multiple occurrences. We can look up for only one record, even though there are multiple. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
Then convert an object in input data from one value to another value. So conversion, it's like the object conversion, like data number to text, text to number, date to text, text to date. So we can do object conversion from input data to output data. Then perform conditional logic. Conditional logic like if else conditions. We can do that. Perform conditional logic. That is the meaning condition based on condition. Then execute another map to produce an output. That means it's like run map. Whatever it was using run function, you can execute one map from another map.
Okay.
Then output rule cell should be mapped with none if there is no logic. So you shouldn't leave left any field. You have to do none. There is no logic.
Okay.
So simply the mapping rule can be either simple input data object to output data object, or we can extract the record based on some criteria, or we can count the records. We can look up only one from the input loops. We can look up or based on the qualifiers. We can look up for entire loop or record. We can do the transformation from one object to another object like number to text, text to time, or we can perform the conditional logic like if else condition, or we can execute. All these are the mapping functionalities available in the map.
Okay.
All these will be supported in the mapping, or we can execute one map to another map.
Okay.
Yes, Sony, we can go for next, or do you have any questions up to you?
No, it's fine. Go for next.
Yeah. So just screenshot of mapping group. See here, first one is current date time. So it's just use built-in function. The next one is hard-coded value. This is ANSI 12.
Okay.
Next one is hard-coded. So here count.
Yes.
So count means it will count the basically G01 is it will ask how many transactions are there between G and G. So we here the rule is count of transactions here. This is the transaction. So here it will be S occurrence. So we have to do the count of how many transactions are there. So this is count function.
Okay.
So enter the mapping rule. So how to do the mapping? Either you can type them or you can drag from input card to output card. Mostly typing will be for hard-coded values or built-in functions. Other way is you can drag and drop, or you can copy and paste from data object from input card. Instead of drag and drop, even you can do the copy from input card and paste at the output card. Then if you want to do the if you don't know the function, what is the function and how to use, at the mapping rule tab you can right click, there will be option insert function. Yesterday I showed you, right? Insert function.
Okay.
So by using those functions, you can, if you click that function, it will come in the mapping rule.
Okay.
And dragging an item restriction from properties window to the rule bar. It's like nothing but again drag an item. So these are the all this slide will talk about how can we do the mapping rule. It's nothing but either you can drag and drop, or you can type, or you can insert the functions. So basically three types, or you can do the copy and paste also. Okay.
Okay.
So the next one is functional map. When we can use the functional map, we already see that. So a function map is nothing but it's like a subroutine. It maps a portion of data at a time. It's like subroutine as discussed. It's like normal C function or any function, any language, .NET, Java. It's like subroutine. Here,
Okay.
even
Yes.
C or data, it performs some function. Similarly, here also, it will do the mapping a portion of that group. Then it can take one or more input objects and generate one output object, depends on the business requirement. So it's nothing but the functional map. We can pass n number of arguments, first argument, second argument, third argument. Using those all the data, inside that it will do the mapping for one output object. So we can pass n number of arguments for functional map.
Okay.
The use of functional map is very common. Almost every executive map created will use at least one functional map. It's like it's not like always the map should have functional map, but mostly whatever you do the development, it will be having functional map. Situations where we have to use the functional map. To map a group in the input to a different group in the output, use functional map. So that's we already covered, right? Suppose if the input group is different, output group is different, we have to use the function map. The next one is the next one is also we discussed. Suppose if we don't know how many number of times output has to create, we can create the functional map.
Okay.
Here, Sonia, or you have any question?
No, what do you repeat? What you told now?
The last point.
Yeah.
That suppose if we the group is exact times, you don't know how many number of times that group has to be created. That like the field based on the input record. You don't know how many number of times input will come.
Okay.
So you have to use the functional map so that it will create the output for how many that number of times it will get. Suppose if 10 times
Okay.
it will get 10 times.
Okay. So direct mapping you can't do it then.
But then that direct
map.
group level.
Oh, based on the group. Okay, got you. Okay,
Yeah.
groups.
All these blue, sky blue color icons are functional map. Gray color is actual main map.
Okay.
All these are the functional maps. DTP, 2000, N4 segment, group, INS, interchange, this is the loop, okay, transaction. All these are the functional maps. Always you create the function map with F underscore, it is advisable so that it will be easily identified.
Okay, yeah, I've understood. Okay.
Then there will be two views, list view and composition view. Composition view will show like this, it will show in the hierarchy. Basically now it is outline view, this is composition view. So in the composition, suppose if the map is having 10 functional maps, it will show like this. F create interchange. Suppose inside F create interchange, this meaning is hierarchy. Inside F create interchange, we created 270. Inside 270 is basically ANSI actual mapping. This is interchange is ISA level. 270 means at GSGE level, 270 transaction. Then inside GSGE, transaction is created. Inside transaction, detail. Inside detail, RCB, like that. And inside detail, we have multiple mappings, NM1, 2B, 3R, GP, like that. This is basically composition view. Composition view will basically in hierarchy level it will show, whereas in outline view, all maps will be showed in like just it will show. We don't know from where it will where the function map. Suppose here you know that F create info function map is present inside detail. Detail is present inside transaction. Transaction present 270. We get to show hierarchy. We view the composition. In the map
Okay.
designer there will be two views, outline view and composition. Composition
Okay.
will be like this. Okay.
Okay. Yes. One question I have, like GS and G, right? What about ST? Okay, you are telling about transaction ST, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Transaction is HP. Clear?
And detail is okay.
Tell me, tell me.
Yeah, detail is like SMD level. Like don't understand that NC format.
Yeah, this is something like suppose if we take 856 transaction, it will be LIN. LIN loop will be detailed. It will again differ. 270, I'm not sure. I think something there will be detailed loop for every transaction.
Okay, we have somewhere like what is 270, what is otherwise it's like they will give the like some agreement document like implementation guide is there for this something.
No, for every mapping they will give the mapping spec document, right? That mapping spec document will clearly mention what is your what should be the input and what should be the output. Suppose if you are
Okay.
type key is proprietary, they will give clearly the message structure how to create the type key. I mean, what under all the fields, what under the records, what is the data type, length, whether it is delimited pixel length. Suppose if it is INC actual, they will mention the version number and type, what is the transaction.
Okay.
You never saw your mapping spec documents in your project. I mean, you haven't it started your project.
No, they have something like I saw that the thing 270 like something.
Okay.
There they have header something and
The
yeah some dog.
spec document, suppose if you are doing mapping to H2L, in the Excel sheet, left side they'll mention everything from ISA to IEA. Each field,
Oh,
what should be the mapping rule.
okay, okay,
So accordingly, you have to do mapping.
okay. So it is simple that mapping.
Huh?
Creating that mapping is simple. Is easy or how you can understand from that that they what they provide the document or something specification.
Okay.
From by seeing the specification can understand that like how we can create the thing.
Yes,
It is that clear? Okay.
yes, it should be. Then how can you do the mapping without the mapping spec document?
Okay, it's okay.
There should be specification. Otherwise, how can you do? It's not possible for any project. There will be design or specification document based on
Oh,
the.
design. Okay. Okay. No BRD and function requirement, nothing like that, right?
There won't be mostly. We never use the BRD and functional specific document because
Okay.
those will be taken care by business analysts at on-site. They will go and gather the requirements from customer and they will prepare the specification document. Then there will be BA. They will prepare the specification document themselves. Just we have to do the development of maps. Mostly in most of the WTF project based on the specification.
Development means development documentation is what
Development of
like
map.
map. This map is development document, map source and all.
Yes, you have to do right.
Okay. Okay.
You have to do the development of this map based on the specification. The map might be having some hundreds of functions there. If it is more complex.
Okay. So design document also we need to create, right? Something.
Which document?
Design document and development document design of the same or like
No, develop. I'm not talking about development document. I told development of map.
oh development of map. Okay,
Map,
sorry.
map, not document.
Okay.
Then basic steps in using a function. So basically we covered when we have to create the function, determine the input document function, enter the map and doing that. This slide also I talked about again. So this is the example how to create the function map. See here at STSC level they have written the each PO to here each PO is there right here. This is the transaction. So this group will occur multiple times S times. So we don't know how many number of transactions will be there. So here the input is XML. So for each PO XML, they are passing one argument. So this can occur n number of times. And the second argument is built-in function number to text index of dollar. Index of dollar will return each time it will increment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So if there are 10 POs, it will this function map will execute 10 times, right? So for each time the index will get increment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then number to text. So basically index will return the number. We are doing conversion to text. So this function
Okay.
map we are passing the two arguments. One argument is from input, the second argument is index. So each time whenever the function map will get executed, inside this it will index will get increment for each execution of this functional map.
Okay. Index of dollar, right? What do you told then?
Dollar
Index of
means
what?
this. Wherever in WTech we
This okay.
dollar means this. This means here transaction. this group,
Current transaction.
current group.
Okay. Okay.
So in the functional map, so we no need to create the functional map once. I mean, you no need to manually create the function map. Manual means no need to select the type, type. Once you create the rule for function map, right click using functional map wizard, you can easily create the functional map. But always it is not possible. Sometimes it will throw errors and warnings. Now in this case, it won't create the when you create the function map wizard, it will be having function map name, input card and output card. Here we have second input card number to text index. It will show in red color because it doesn't know which type it has to be used. Here this is the type, because here we use the built-in function. Because of this built-in function, it doesn't know which type it has to be used. So in this case,
Okay.
we have to reset it and manually create it. I will show the example.
Like each, what is that? Each p underscore po is a function or a custom function?
Each PO is a functional map name.
Oh, function map. Okay. Okay.
It is not prefixed with F underscore. It's very old map.
Okay.
Okay, I told that function map should be, here it should be like F underscore each underscore PO. This is functional.
Yes. Okay.
And this is one.
Okay. I thought it's a function.
Yes.
Okay.
So in executed map, enter the map rules for function map. Select the rule or rule for which you want to generate the function map. From the rules menu, choose functional map wizard. Once you completed the rule for function map, choose functional map wizard. If necessary, correct the problem. Correct the problem means, suppose it sometimes, like in this example, we have to correct the function map wizard because it won't show any type key and type for the second input card. Edit the cards as required. It is recommended to assign meaningful names to the cards in the function map. A good tip is name the card's name as a seed name as data object. Basically, in the real-time situations, they won't leave the input card names, output card names like input IN1, IN2, IN3, out1, out2 like that. We have to give the meaningful name. Suppose if your input is like order, you have to give order as the card name. Suppose similarly, if your output is X12 270, you have to give X12 underscore 270. So basically, you have to give the meaningful name, right? Not
Okay.
only for main map, you have to even for the functional maps also, you have to give the meaningful name.
Okay.
Always, it is a good tip is use the card names as the same data object. Suppose object means suppose whatever you are passing. Here you are doing the mapping at a transaction level. So in this functional map, name the output card as transaction and input card as PO underscore XML is the first input card. Second input card name is index. Like it is easy to understand. That is the meaning.
Okay.
So when a map is successfully created, the green face icon appears next to the map name and card further. Suppose when you select the function map wizard, if everything is okay, it will show in green color. So if it is green color, you can directly click the create and generate so that it will create the functional map. But suppose if there are any errors, see here, if everything is success, it will show in green color. So this is the functional map, this is the output card, this is the input card, this is the type key for output, this is the input type key, and this is the type. What is the type?
Okay.
If everything is okay, it will show in green color. Suppose if there are any errors, it will show in red color. In the next
Okay.
slide, we'll talk about it. See here.
Okay. Oh.
This is gray color appears next to an input card name. It's basically talks about invalid type, invalid input. This is
Okay.
there is no input, there is input card is undefined. Invalid type when it will come, this icon will come only when you do manual changes. This icon will
Okay.
come, so this all frequently this icon will come because most of the time, like index, we will not when you create the functional map wizard, there won't be any type key assigned for this in arguments for the second input card. In that case, it will show this icon. So in that case, we have to manually select the type key and type of the second input card. This is if something input is invalid for that card, for functional map, it will show in this icon color.
Okay.
Clear, Tony?
Yes.
Green. Next one is building map. So we saw that already. Once you complete the map, you have to build the map and you can use the results. So what is a card? Each map may contain none or more output cards and one or more input cards. So as I told, each map can contain the none or more outputs and similarly here also it will be none or more input cards. It's like not one or more. It's none or more. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, fine.
Then each card represents one data object identified by selecting the type. We have to select the type. Then input card represents input data. Input data validation occurs in the type designer. So when the map try to read the data against the type key, the validation will be done against the type key what we created using the type designer. So if there are any we haven't seen component rules restart function. See that while doing the mapping. In the type key we missed about component. So if we do the component, it will do more validation to the data. Each card specifies a type key and types part of the card definition. This type and the type key that contains it is the link between the type designer and map designer that defines the structure and properties of the data in the input card. Output card represents output data and consists of the mapping rules. Only one output card has a rule column. Only output cards will be having rule column. Each map may contain none or more input cards and similarly none or more output cards. The maximum number of input cards is 100 and similarly maximum number of output cards is 100. So here the point is the map can have maximum 100 input cards and 100 output cards. And remaining
Okay.
points are all already we discussed, you know that. Okay, so
Yep.
input card and output. So basically, the card when you select add the input card, it looks like this. We have to give the card name. We have to select the type key. We have to select the type, and we discuss what is integral and burst mode. By default, it will be integral. Burst mode means for huge volumes of data, we have to select burst mode, and for burst mode, you have to do the pitch unit, so that for every number of units, it will create output file. Then get what is from where the your file will come. File m2 database. You have to select the adapter. Suppose if it is database, you have to give the command. What is the select query? What is the database name? Like hyphen query, hyphen db name, space value, hyphen username, hyphen password or hyphen pwd. We'll see one example for database after all.
Okay.
And then file path, all these properties, transaction on success, whether you have to keep or delete the file, on failure, whether you have to commit or roll back, whether you have to retry, or how many number of times you have to retry, what is the interval for retry. This document verification for XML, and the last one is backup. Then you have to do the backup. Always you have to do the backup or only on error. If the backup is there, what should be the file name, where should we create it, all those properties will come in the for every input card.
Okay.
So it's saying that more than one card in a map can reference each type, but the cards must have different card name. That means the second input card also can use the same type and same type, but the only thing is card name should be different. And each card number, there will be one number will be assigned for each card. We open the map. See here, there will be number will be assigned for each input card. See here, 1, 2.
Okay.
So the number will get incrementing. Here also
Okay.
for output calls also 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically for each input and output calls, the number will be assigned. Then the structure of the card check appears in the card. An icon represents each component that entire card data object is composed of. Each icon in the input card and output represents the type that has been defined as a type. So basically the icon is nothing but what is the whether it is item or partitioned item, partitioned group or normal group, sequence group, choice group, unordered group. Basically, when you select the type in the left side or right side, it will show the we can identify the type based on the icon. So going on, you can remember it. How now you know right how it looks like item. Item in a what rhombus.
Okay.
Group
Yes.
circle. Choice
Mm-hmm.
means the color will get changed for second circle. Unordered means
Okay.
followed by rectangle.
Yes.
So here each data object will be differentiated using the icons. That is the meaning. Similarly, in case of partition group, the structure will be shown in the icon shown for each component. After the partition group, there will be multiple components. So it basically this is the 1, 2, 3 is the card number, and table 1, table 2, table 3 are the card names, and type name will be inside the brackets. That is the type we selected in the type 3. Table 1 Java is the type we selected in the type 2. So inside the
Okay.
brackets type, and outside the brackets card name. Organizer window, it's nothing but extended navigator window, and double command and so when you build the map, build command analyzes the logical interfaces within map rules, and if the analysis is successful, it will compile the map. Analysis includes checking for missing rules, invalid card definitions, verifying map references, and verifying the arguments of function map. Also looks for circular map references, maps that are referred from one to another. So that means when you build a map, it will analyze all these things. It will check for any there are any missing rules, or it will check for invalid rules. That means suppose if you are doing mapping from like suppose if your output is number field, but you are passing the text field. So in that case, that kind of analysis it will do. So in that case, it will throw error. Output of argument rule doesn't match output type. Similarly, if you are written the functional map, whether your function map input cards and output cards are same as whatever you are passing to the functional map, whether it is that kind of errors it will check. Then an executable map has a data source or target specified for each of its targets. That means the executable map will be having data source and target, from where data will be coming, from where data has to be written. Whereas functional map will not be, we won't set the data source and target for functional map. And also we can't build that map, I mean we can't build functional maps, we can build only main source map. Just this is the icon for build.
Yes.
So when you build a map, these are the different platforms available to build. Itanium processor, PA, HP, UX processor, IBM AX, ZOS, Linux, Windows, Sun, Solaris. So these are all the platforms we can build the map. It depends.
By default, it's Windows.
Pardon?
By default, it's Windows, right?
By default, when you just click and build, it will build for Windows. By default, Windows.
Okay.
If you want
Okay.
a run map has to be run on different server, you can do it.
So what is the extension for Linux you told? MMC is Windows
So
and
no, for Linux, .lnx, for AX,
LN.
.ex, like that for each platform it will create different.
No, Linux LNX, right?
Yes,
Oh,
LN. Here extension for it.
Okay.
Then this is the icon for run. This symbol, play symbol. Once you, whenever you do the changes, you have to build the map. Even if you do the changes in type tree also, you have to build the map. Even though there is no change in the map, you have to build the type tree once again, because the map will reference the type tree. We are not separately building the type tree and map. The map will refer the type tree, and it will, while doing the compilation, it will compile the both type tree and map. So whenever you do the changes, even though there are no changes in the map, you have to reopen the map and you have to create the compiled map.
Okay.
So this is basically map audit. In the map settings, we saw only yesterday map trace. Trace in nothing but if there is any problem, that is one thing. There is one more thing, one option is the map audit. So basically, the audit will talk audit log. The audit log will be having all this information. It will be map status information, like whether the map completed successfully or what is the map execution. I mean execution result, whether completed successfully or any error is there, and return code. If the return code is 00, map completed. I mean map return code is 0. It is completed successfully. So for every error, there are some return codes. If it is failure, adapter failure, or input valid unknown data point. For every kind of error, there are some return code and elapsed execution time. That means in order to read the data and create the output for one input, how much time it took. So it will give the execution time and restart count. Suppose if there are any restarts, it will give that count. Then the return code message. It's like again map status code. Then compiled map name. What is the MMC name? How many input cards found? How many output cards found? What is the source data for each input? What is the target data for each output? And work area. What is the workspace directory and memory size, memory count? Everything it will show. The audit log will
Okay.
this audit log. How it looks like. It's basically the XML file. So the audit log will give all this information when you switch on the audit. And also there will be option when you have to switch. I mean when you have to create the audit log, whether always or on error or on warning or on error. That kind of options are there.
Okay.
See, it looks like XML file. See here, execution summary, map status valid, map return 0. That means message is map completed successfully for 0. Similarly, suppose if something like 18, it will show one or more invalid. So for every message, there will be one map and elapsed time. How much time it took execution. Restart counts only 0. There is no restart. And totally 18 objects has been found and 12 objects has been built. And what is the MMC name? And this is the source report. So the first card, adapter is 5, 52 bytes read, adapter return means 0, data read successfully, and this is the data file and timestamp. So that is the thing. Then mark performance. So it's not like you developed the map, you developed the map and you achieve the output. You have to concentrate on the map performance as well. The map shouldn't take much time to execute it. So you have to optimize the map wherever it is possible. You have to optimize the map. So by creating the profiler, you can see each function. It will show basically how much time it took for each type and each functional map, each function. The profiler will talk about it. The map profiler is a user configurable utility that captures and reports the map execution statistics. That means when you configure the profiler, it will show the statistics of the map, how it is executed, how much time each took for each functional map, each function, how many iterations are there. So by analyzing those things, you can say that this function is taking much time, this function map is taking much time. So you have to optimize this? How can you? We have to think about how can I reduce this? Is there any other option to do the mapping for this way instead of using this function? Is there any other way? So you have to think and you have to do the mapping. So this is the sample profiler report. These are all the card name. You see here types rules breakdown. Here these are all the functional maps, and this is the time taken for this functional map, and this is the type within the type what for which type it is taking time. So here basically it's taking time for detailed record and iterations. How many number of times this iteration is coming, and here it is there like functional summary. So it will show type summary and functional summary for each function. How many iterations, how many times. Basically, extract, lookup, it will take more time. So you have to avoid usage of lookup, extract wherever it is possible. It's not like you shouldn't use the lookup and extract. You can use, but the other alternatives are there. We'll see how to improve the performance of the. I'll tell you some tips. Okay,
Yep.
Sony,
Yes, yes.
you clear, right?
Here like uh, uh first is valid like validate card 01. What is 208? That's the timing. All are timing. The first one.
Yes, yes.
Validate card.
Yeah, actually this screenshot is not in correct format. So it's a breakdown
Okay.
in 3D card. I'll create and
Okay.
show you.
Okay.
Basically, I'm talking about how it looks like. The profiler will be having functional summary, rule summary, breakdown also it will be having.
Oh, rule also is there, right? Functional map,
Rules
rules,
it
okay.
won't show. Rules it won't show. So basically, where you are here, you are showing
No, no, type per rule. Okay, type per rule breakdown, okay.
type for rule.
What are that?
That means here for function map, this function map has written at for detail level. For pivot data, this is functional map. So for how much time it took for each functional map at each type?
Only functional map only, right? Not output card and input card, nothing.
No, 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 no. This is functional
Okay.
map.
Okay. And also the rules inside that, right?
Inside the
Like inside functional map, the rules, right? We write rules, right?
yes,
Lookup or
based on rules, it won't show the time. Based on functional map only. For each functional map, how many number of times it's executed, and also it will show how much time it took.
okay, okay, got
And
it.
also for built-in function, it will show how many number of times that function has been called at last level functional summary, and also it will show how much time it took for each function.
Okay. Built-in function like lookup, extract and all, right? It will say, tell like
Yes,
for lookup it took this
how
much
many
time.
number
Okay.
of times it's executed and how much time it took for that number of iterations.
Okay.
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 So exception handling. So exception handling, as I told, suppose if we want to read invalid data also, we have to put the restart attribute at the input type tree, and output type tree or the output side using is error, reject function or contain error multiple function. Using those function, you can write the invalid data to separate error report. You can extract the error only error record to separate file. You can process the valid record. So this is the exception handling using restart attribute, reject error handling function, reject is error, contains error. Using these functions, you can extract the error record and you can create the error report.
Okay.
So you can map invalid data to error report. If you want to map invalid data in output to report, the file itself must be a valid. Assign the restart attribute at the component level. The errors must be ignored for invalid data update. So if we put the restart attribute, the errors will be ignored. You can map the invalid data using these error function, reject is error, contains error. So if you want to errors to be ignored, you have to put the restart attribute. Otherwise, the map will not execute.
Okay.
You put restart attribute, then only errors will be ignored, and at the output side, you can extract the error records using functions.
Okay.
reject, is error, or contains error function. Okay,
Okay.
so now you are following
Yes, yes.
the map
So
troubleshooting.
this
Yeah, tell me.
these are put inside the like rules, right? In functional map or in output card, reject is error. Error function we can put anywhere, right?
Mapping rules. At mapping rules, we can do either at item level or group level.
Oh,
And
item is item.
this is basically mapping rules. Using this reject function is error, we will do the mapping rules using this function.
Oh, we can have separate output card for reject. Like one output card will have the only the reject thing
Yes,
that way.
we can.
Oh,
Yes. It's
okay.
basically mapping rule. You can put one output card there for one field. For that field, you can write something like if contains error.
Reject.
Maybe you have to put you have to put that data to some directory. You can do that.
Okay, okay,
Even
okay,
within one output card, you can have two items. One is for you can at the mapping rule level also you can write the data to adapter using put command. It's not like only at card level you can write the data. Even at mapping rule level, using the put command, you can put the data to file adapter or database or wherever.
okay, okay.
Now we have seen that card level, right? Entire card level.
Yes, yes.
Even you can write that mapping rule level also.
Okay.
So it's basically troubleshooting. Suppose there are various methods of troubleshooting that can assist you in situations where the running map. The following types of error occur regarding input or output data, like data invalid, data contains error. So you asked me, right, how can I check if the trace file is having some very big data? So using the
Okay.
invalid, unknown, error, fail, using these keywords we have to find out the trace file where they are
Okay.
staying.
Okay.
Then, if you run a map and invalid or unknown input data is entered, you can analyze what happened during validation process. That means by creating that case, you can find out what is the problem. If you run map and get a runtime error or you don't get expected output, use any of the following debugging. Suppose your map gets completed successfully, but you are not receiving the expected output. So by using these things, you can debugging it. One is command server. So what is that mean? Generally in your production server or UAT server, the map will get executed automatically. I mean, you will set the event. Whenever the file receives, you have to create the output. So instead of that, what but you are not receiving the expected output. So the other way is you can run the map explicitly using Mercator command. Or if you give the Mercator space map name and then what are the input, suppose hyphen if1 space what is the file path, then I will give that command for how will be the syntax hyphen if2 space hyphen if1. You can run the map explicitly in the server also. Then use
Okay.
the audit log map debugging is the audit log is the one which will give the high level information what is the problem. Then map debugging, we can debug the map in the window in our development environment. Even we create the trace. So these are all the different types we can troubleshoot. So debugging, tracing, audit log. So basically three types: debugging, trace, and audit log.
Okay.
So by using this, we can troubleshoot the map. Mostly trace will help you, and trace
Trace
will help
it.
you for input side, and debugging will help you while doing the mapping rules. It will show how the map is getting executed. We can add the breaks
Okay.
and we can do the debugging.
Okay. Output type and the in the output card, right?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
So the next one is functions. So again, the functions that it's basically talks about built-in function. An expression that produces a result based on certain operation can be entered in the component rule or map rule. It's basically talking about WTX built-in functions like current date and if function, when function. So we can basically use the functions at either mapping rules or even in the component rule. Component rules will write in the type tree designer, type trees. Whereas map rules will write that map. I mean, while doing the mapping, we will write the map rules, and or we can write at the component rules. That thing, but type tree. So we can
Okay.
use the functions either in the map rules or component rules. We will see how to write the component rule. Even the anti-extol type tree will also be having the component rule. I'll
Okay.
show that. Then all the next slides will talk about the most frequently used functions. Shall we go ahead, or you have any question? Now we'll see most. I mean, what are the common functions we'll use in the real time? The next slides.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
you
That's
want
fine.
something? We are on 1.5 hours now.
That's fine.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. So the first function, write function. What is the write function? Retains a specified number of characters from the text from the rightmost byte. So the syntax will like this: write of text expression, comma single integer expression. That means it will give the from right sides. If you see the example, write of A B C D comma 2 means from right side it will give the two bytes. Similarly, if you give the 6, it will give
Six.
that means from right side 6, but the data itself is 4, so it will return all 4 bytes.
Okay. No spaces, right?
Button,
No spaces.
no spaces,
It won't.
it won't give
Okay.
space. And here the right of 000 plus number to text, because why? Because number to text is used, because right function the first argument should be text expression. That's why there is a number to text of text expression and 6. Suppose if transaction number contains 1 2 3, this example will return 000 1 2 3. Why? Because from right side it will give the 6 bytes. Suppose
Okay.
if the transaction number like this, it will give 4 5 6 7 8 9, because the last 6 return. The right function will return the last 6 characters from right side.
Last 6 months. Okay.
Suppose if we, in your the real time example, we will give here instead of the hard coding, we will give the we will drag the input type, input item. Suppose if
Mm-hmm.
you are mapping the order ID, we will write, you will drag the order ID here.
Okay.
Similarly, the next function, 1 minute.
Okay.
అన్న ఫోన్ చేస్తా అన్న ఫోన్ చేస్తా So the next function is similarly like right, there is a function called left function. The left function it is opposite. From left to right it will give the, it is the syntax will be same. Left of text expression, single integer expression, so that it will give from left side the number of bytes it will return. It will give from left side. You understood, right? What is right function? What is left function?
Okay. Yes.
Then the next function is either. Here either function returns the result of the first argument that doesn't evaluate to none. We already, I told, right? You can
Yes.
give n number of expression. First, if the first expression is not none, it will give that. First, it will try for first expression. If that is true, it will return the current value. Suppose if that is not true, it will go for second. So even suppose if that is also none, it will go for third. If that is none, fourth, fifth, like that you can give.
Okay, like it goes from left to right, right?
Yeah, you have left to right.
Oh, left to right. Okay.
First it will try. If that is no data, then it will go for next. Here, example is order date and current date. Suppose if order date is evaluated none, it will return the current date type.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes. Okay.
clear, right? What is either function? Basically, it
Yes.
returns the first argument that doesn't evaluate to none.
Okay.
Then present function. Basically, present function tests whether the object data is present or not. Suppose if they are present, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns fail. Suppose he
Okay.
just will rank the one item or one record. Whether we
Okay.
just will check whether the data, this function will check whether the data is present or not for that item or object. You can give here either item or either group.
Okay.
Then it will check
So
whether the data is present or not. Because in the mapping rules, they will say that suppose if the data is for the field, suppose if the data is for order number item, do the mapping for rep segment. The kind of rules they will mention. So if the
okay.
data is present, then only we have to do the mapping. Mostly in the ANSI X12, if the data is there, then only you have to do the mapping for rep segment or whatever. Even for N1 segment, if the name is present, then only you have to do the mapping. Suppose if you don't do the checks, simply you will write the qualifier because the qualifier will be hard coding, right? N1 segment
Okay. Yes.
will do the hard coding for qualifier, whereas the name value will be from input. So if you do the hard coding, only N1 colon ST colon empty data will come. But that is not valid EDI file. If the qualifier is there, there should be value. So we have to check the condition whether the data is present or not.
So always if we put the present, it's fine, right? Whenever like like we for output card, if we put a qualifier like if present function is right,
Yeah, okay.
like null check, like doing a null check or something, like in the programming language that way, right? Something.
No, I'm not. Can you bit louder when you ask question? Clear.
No, like we do in a programming language we do null check, right?
Yes.
Otherwise it gives null point exception. Though that way it is like present.
Not like you can do the mapping directly. It won't throw any error even though there is no data.
Okay, okay.
It's not like .NET. If there is no data, it will throw null exception. It's not like that. It will still
Yeah, I got
mark
it.
none.
But you can check every time, right?
Yeah, you can check if you
Present.
want. It's not like you can check if you want. If you
Okay.
do the mapping 1 to 1, even though there is no data, it will map the none. Then why do you want to check?
Okay, okay,
Right?
okay. Okay, got it.
By default, anyway, if there is no data, it will map the
If
none. You have to write. Suppose
none.
what you are saying is, if present of data, you will do the mapping. Otherwise, you will do the none. But what
Okay.
I'm saying is, even though if you do directly drag and drop, even though there is no data, it will map the none. So why do you want to check? It's take more time, right? It's performance issue.
No. Oh, it's a performance. No, otherwise, like if you do a test to if you take a function and if you want to check like if the function is taking only number, then for checking that if we have character or not. So if present number is present, then only do this like this conversion or something.
No, that validation will also be handled at the type tree, right? Because you will define the type tree. If it is number field, you will put the number field. If the text is coming, obviously the map will get field saying that the input is invalid.
Oh, okay, okay.
Only
Before only.
if there are all the functions available, you can the WTX has having ability to do the checkings. That's what.
Okay.
That's up to you. Suppose it's based on up to your mapping script document whether you need to check it or not. That's what the simple example is they will say if the data is present for this field, you have to do the mapping for this entire record. In that case, it will do the check.
Okay.
It's not like item level check. I'm talking about field entire record level. Entire
Okay, got it.
created only when mandatory data is present. Suppose that
Okay,
card is having 10 items, but out of 10, only one item is mandatory. So they will mention only that if the data is present for that item, you create this record. Otherwise, I don't want this record, like that. In that case, you can use this present. So it's up to situation where whether we have to use it or not. And just this is a function available. So the
okay, okay,
function maybe it returns true if the data is present. Otherwise it returns false. Okay.
okay,
The next function is round. Is basically the mathematical function. It rounds a number to a specified number of decimal places. The number of decimal places is not specified. The number is returned to a whole number. The result is a character number format. So it basically it will round the decimal places to whatever we will give.
okay,
Like mathematical function, it will accept two arguments. The first function is the first argument is the number. The second argument is to which number we have to round, whether two decimals, three decimals, four decimals. We have to round the number.
yes, okay,
Okay,
yes,
Sony.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, then add days. This is basically it will work for date items, date and time items. Add days function adds the specified number of days to a given date. Suppose we have given add days invoice date comma 10, it will add 10 days to the invoice date. So it is basically accept two arguments. The first argument is date and time item. The second argument is how many number of days you have to add. Even you can add the minus item, minus 10 also. So that it will subtract there is no function subtract date, only add days is there. But still if you add the minus 10, it will subtract it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Then if function, it is conditional. If function evaluates the conditional expression, returns one value if true, otherwise return another value if it is false. It's like normal C expression. If
Okay.
condition expression, that means it will evaluate the condition. If that is true, it will return the second argument. If that is false, it will return the third argument. So here example, if quantity is greater than 500, it returns priority. Otherwise, it returns regular.
Okay. True means first one. Say the false means second.
True means priority, false means regular.
Yes.
Then lookup. Lookup function sequentially searches a series, return the first member series that meets the specified condition. That means it will be having two arguments. The first argument is what should it return, which series it should return. The second argument is what is the condition. If we take the example, lookup of account customer where the condition is company company name is ACME. So suppose assume that your input record is having 10,000 records, and each record is having customer name, customer account ID, and is having some three more fields, customer address and all. But
Okay.
you want the customer account number, you want the customer account number for ACME, so that you have to do the rule like this: lookup of customer account where customer name equals to ACME, so that it will
Okay.
record one by one wherever ACME is found. For that customer, it will return the account number.
Okay.
Suppose if there are 10 records having customer name ACME, it will return the first value, because the lookup will return only one value, first occurrence. Even though there is 10 records having customer ACME, it will return the first account number.
First account.
Yes. Only it will return only one value, even though there are 10 records. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Yes.
The next one is types of maps: executable maps, function maps. Right? Execute function map, and these are all the icons. This is map source. This is map. This is functional map. This icon will come for reference map. This is input card and this is output card icons.
Mm-hmm.
And all these file, undo, copy, paste, edit. These are normal icons.
Okay.
And this is to create the new map. This is build map, run map. This is run results icon. This is map setting edit. These are all the icons. So, I have any question?
Yeah. Like we have also search also is there, right? Lookup search. Search is what? For search also return the same thing like what lookup does?
No, I'm not getting. Can you come again clearly?
No, search function is also there, right?
Yeah, yes, yes. We'll see. These are only examples. I will go through. Remaining. There are many functions available. Commonly, around 30 functions will be there. Search up,
That is common function.
search
Okay.
down, sort down, extract, current date time, to date time, from date time, unique function,
Okay. Okay.
uh, unique function, member function. All these are the most frequently used functions.
Okay.
We'll see all those.
Okay.
So up to now, we have any questions?
It's good. Yeah. Okay.
No, right?
Yeah. Okay. No.
I'll send you this PPT.
Yes. Okay.
Then we have some lab exercises. These are the IBM exercises. Totally 21 exercises. Can you do the start doing exercises? At least one exercise now. Or you want me to
Uh,
simple exercise?
uh,
Create the type key.
okay. Seeing this one.
Huh?
Which one? Seeing this one. This lab exercise.
No, here this is the exercise. See, the first exercise defining the data. In this exercise, you will demonstrate your understanding of data structures by identifying the data type within text file using the box method and outline method. The files requires this is the what you have to create employee.txt. The first step is identify the objects using the box method data shown in the internet. Wait, I'll tell you. See here you have to create the employee.txt. This is the file. It is having last name fields, first name, hire date, then title, what is the designation, and then phone number, and then last 10 digits are salary. Identify. So the first is so you have to identify the object name and whether it is simple or complex and what is the item. I mean class. Object complex means whether it is item, if it is complex item or group. Simple means it is simple field. So first step is just identification, and here we are defining here last name. If you open in Notepad ++ above example, it will show what is the length. Basically, it is pixel length file. So how should be the properties? Last name, first name, title, then phone number. Will you create the type key for this employee.txt structure? This is the structure,
No.
your structure. Or you want me to go ahead with? further example.
Maybe go ahead with further example. I will create and send it to you. Maybe that way.
Okay.
Till what time you are planning to take now?
It's up to you how many hours you want.
Okay.
We'll see. Yesterday I means content and track content and places. We'll see first, and then we'll go for component code. How to write the component code, how it will validate. Yeah, tell me how many more hours you want. Then we'll go for lookup, extract way, and conversions to date and from date and number date. Some simple example.
Okay. Maybe 1 2 hour, right? Till 11, right?
Button
Till 11.
11 o'clock. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. See here, yesterday I told that content and places for explicit delimited. So what I told, content means it will track the content property. So that means if there is a content, then only it will be considered data is present. Whereas if you put the places, even though there is no data, it will be treated as a data is present. Just even if there is delimited, there is no data, it will be treated as a data. But yesterday what I did is I showed the count, but count is showing even for both content and places, even though there is no data, it will show the same content. But the difference you can see only if you do the mapping. Now let's show that. Now I have put, see that property. See places is there. So even though there is no data, it that means even though just delimited is present, the function map will execute. Why? Because that will be treated as data is present. Generally, the functional map won't execute if there is no data.
Okay.
There is no data, functional map won't execute. Only if there
Okay.
is data, functional map will execute. Now, because we have put the places, so because we put the places, even though there is just a delimiter is present, it will be considered as data is present. Let me show you. See here, the fourth record is star. That means there is no data. Now, because we have given the property as places, this will also be treated as a record even though there is no data. That's why the functional map will still execute and create the output. Let me build and run. Put valid but unknown data. So it is showing input valid but unknown data for false. Yeah, here one extra. So now map completed successfully. Now let me open the output. This is ref on. So that is here itself we can see the output. See now, even though there is no data, the functional map executed and it showed the output. Now let me change to content. So if we change the content, it will track only if there is a content. So that if there is no content, it will not be treated as a record. I mean, it will not be treated as data presence. That's why functional map won't execute and it will not create the output for that field.
Okay.
Now I change it to content. You see here, see, even though
Yes.
input is star is there, it is not treated as a presence of data. So that means it skipped and it created the next record.
Okay.
That is the
Yes.
difference between content and places.
Mm-hmm.
Understood, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Next we'll go for component tools. So here itself we can see the all the files here itself. You can open it. So we'll next see the component tools. Then we'll go for lookup extracting. So here we create new type T finding T five syntax. Now we'll take fields. Fields will create um, qualifier, something, some qualifier. So class should be item. Then next what we'll do, we'll create name. So class should be item. Next we'll create description. Class should be item. So we create simple file with 3 fields and then we go for record. Here one so here group input execute with star giving the value star index and we give initiator literal value
And one finger.
star and terminator will give once we create the let me create syntax not like we should give same name terminal, we can give anything. Let me give that. Then class should be data. Subclass should be syntax. So now we go to the command. We will select terminal as variable. Then it will ask what is the default value. So default give something new. Then item. Item terminator set automatically it will show in the top of all syntax items. Then file.
Okay.
Yes. Now what should we have to do? We have to create file in the number multiple names. Then root subclass implicit. Root will be having multiple segments, but we haven't added anything to segment. Let me add qualifier. Option. Now file between 0 to yes. That means multiple. Now let me analyze just structure analysis. Now we'll write some basic component code. So our requirement is whenever data is present for this N1 segment, either name should be present or description should be present. Now I'm taking simple example. So for that, how can we do that? Here it will here we can write the component tool. So how we can do the component tool here? Present of, so present is the function to check.
Yes. Okay.
Present of dollar means present of this item. So present of dollar means either we have to write next name field. So present of name. So either present of name or present of name. I mean present of description. DESC FILLS. So either name should be present or description should be present. So whenever N1 segment is there, the component tool is saying present of either name or description should be present. So that is our requirement. So we have to write the rule like this: present of the dollar means this then or
Okay.
description field. Let me analyze it. So, understood, Sony, how I wrote the component tool?
Yes. Yeah.
So the meaning is present of this or
This.
present of description. Either
Description.
should be present. If either is not there, it will show error saying that component tool failed. So now we have created one type tree.
Type tray.
Let me go ahead to create the map. So now we go ahead and the input card. So the card name is, we will give then type 505, then file path. So you see here, this is the first input card. Now let me create the sample file. So N1 star qualifier star description star name. The second record will do N1 star session DX star. The next will do N1 star next will do N1 star some example. Then just give 1 minute. So there is no data for N102 and N103, but as per our component code, data should be present. Now let me save it. Now let me run the saying one or more input was invalid. Okay.
Okay.
Put some either here. Now I put N10. So now nav completed successfully, because as per component code, when this data should be present or this data should be present. Whenever there is a record for N1, either N102 or N103 should be present. So let me put delete here and do it. So now also nav getting completed successfully. Now we don't know where the error is present. So how will you analyze it? By
Absolutely, yeah.
input
Trace on.
continuous on, so that it will create the trace on all input. Okay. Now one or more input invalid. Now let's open the text. This is the text file. See here, qualifier. Okay, now search for
Invalid.
CRLF is, see here, it's failed component code test. So just we have to put something go off. So here in qualifier EAS is found. Next, component number 2 of what is component number 2? It is description. As per type T, it is optional. So it is
Okay.
optional and has no content, and then it is there is data. It's CRLF alpha out, but for name field it is reading CRLF. So it is saying that N1 segment failed component root test. As per component root, there should be data for either either description or name, but there is no data. That's why it is showing that failed component root test for N1 segment. So that is
Okay.
so that's why it is showing failed component root test. So that's why that this is invalid data. That's why enter it will show like this invalid data and failed component root test. Okay.
Okay.
So if we take another example, something. Suppose if there is data for qualifier, data should be present for the name field. We'll write the requirement is when there is data for qualifier, there should be present for the data for name field. You understood?
Okay. Yes.
For that, how we can using when function. When so what is when function? When present of when present of entity code qualifier, there should be present of dollar. That means dollar means okay. We'll write this
Description. Okay.
control X. So when present of entity code this field, there should be name always. This is the meaning.
Okay. Like how it will read, like first left to right.
Yeah, left to right. Everything will be the execution will be left to right.
First when, then present
Not
this.
left to right. It depends on the function brackets. Here it will be left to right because first it will go here this bracket and then it like execute it. If it is true, then it will go for next. It will check. If both are true, then only it will return true.
Okay.
If either false, suppose if it is true, this is false, then it will return the false.
Okay.
So error. Suppose if it is false, then it will come out enter record will be true only. Why? Because only present. When this is present, then only we need the name. Suppose if there is no data for entity quad qualifier, we no need to validate anything. The rule is
Okay.
saying when data is present for qualifier, there should be data for name. That is the meaning.
Okay.
See, one or more input invalid. Why? Because there is qualifier is present, but there is no name.
Mhm.
So now completed successfully. Now let me. So previous example when I name is delivered, it's throwing error. Why? Because qualifier is present, but there is no name. Now let me remove here both qualifier and name. In this case, it should see it's completed successfully. Why? Because as per component rule, if there is qualifier, then name should be present. In this record, there is no qualifier, so it is not required to have the data for name as well. So only description is present.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, you can write the component rule. Suppose if it is number field, you can write the rule like the number should be greater than 100, something like that. Anyway, that you can do in the restriction. Okay, other than that, you can, mostly the rules, component rules will be like this only. when the qualifier is present, name should be present, or within the segment the data should be present for name or description. All actual type B rules will be like this, using when present. Most of the rules when
Okay.
present or and logical condition. When present, most of the rules will use when and present in the component rules, and are absent also. Uh, uh,
Absolute.
we have function called absent also.
Okay.
So this is the example for component rule. Next, what we will do? We will create. Okay, we'll use same. Yeah, we'll use same. We'll use lookup and extract. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. First, we will use same type for both input and output. Next, we will change the. Next time we will change. First, let me use the same type. So now, see here. We used the same group, same input type, same type key, same type. Now, suppose if you know that we have to create only n1 segment once or twice or thrice. If you know the exact number, then right click, add index, so that it will create add the index here, so that you can write the rule here or at item level. Whereas if the occurrence is yes, you have to do the rule at S level, group level only. You can't do the mapping at field level. See here, everything will be.
Okay.
You can add n number of indexes. If we know that exactly how many number of times we have to create, then you keep on add index. You can suppose if the occurrence is only one, you can write the mapping rule either at item level
Item.
or group level.
Mhm.
See, either group level you can write or item level. Whereas if it is S occurrence, you have to do the mapping at rule level. You cannot do it
Problem.
at item level.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So now, okay, the first example is, let me open. It is having multiple records with different qualifiers. Now the requirement is we have to create an N1 segment with the qualifier is SE. Suppose example is AS. Okay,
Okay.
we have to create an output record called AS qualifier. So the simple is for that one, what is the function? Lookup is the function which will return the first occurrence of matching object. So lookup of N1 segment where What is the first qualifier? First qualifier is what you want. I want the N1 segment record. Second record is condition. What is the condition? Qualifier is yes, so that it will return. It will return the entire N1 segment. Okay. Now let me map it to everything to none, because we shouldn't leave empty. Insert none is empty, so that it will return. It will map none wherever rule is empty. Clear?
One second. How it is like N1 segment record?
Okay.
N1 segment record entity qualifier field.
Papa, I just dragged this N1 segment so that it will return
Okay.
the entire N1 record. This is what is this entire record. Condition is qualifier is yes. So I just dragged entity qualifier equals to yes. This is the return data object.
Okay.
Condition object. Let me delete it. See, what you want? You want the N1 record.
N1 record.
What is the condition? Always better to do the indentation so that it will be just drag and drop into qualifier. You can write the rules continuously within single line, but it will be
Okay.
to understand, right? If you write like this.
Okay, got it.
So if we lookup of N1 segment where qualifier is AS.
Yes, okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So it will return the AS segment record. Run it. Now open the output. See, this is our input. It is having SC, BY something. But we have written the AS record. That's why it has written entire record.
Okay.
Suppose your input is having multiple AS. Text 1, text 2, text 3. So in that case, what it will return?
The test. The first one.
Will it return
N1 AS?
or it will return all?
No, only the first one.
Okay, suppose if you write this rule here and I map insert none. So now what it will return?
No, multiple.
Pardon?
Multiple. Like test one, test one.
In the yes occurrence is there, it will return only one. Why? Because we used the lookup function.
Okay.
See, it will return only first one.
Okay.
Suppose if you want all the values, all the records, what is the function?
Extract?
Yes. So extract the N1 segment where qualifier is AS, so that it will return all occurrences of records.
But we can't put it in the index level, right?
We can't
put it in index level index 1. Can we put that?
If you rule at index level, it will return only one value.
One value, okay.
First, let me show you output. See, it is returning all values in the output.
Okay.
Now, let me put this rule at index. It will return only one. Because, why? Because it is having the, let me put here, any index.
Yes.
Now I map to none here. Even though we have given the extract, it will return only one value, first value. Why? Because this segment maximum will occur only once. So it will create the output for only one time. The output only first record it will return.
Okay.
So in this case, because of using extract, this is unnecessary to use the extract. So if we create the index and use the extract, it will take performance issue. So instead of here, lookup is the best idea to use. So always use best suitable function.
Okay.
So this is the lookup and extract. Now, okay. Now let me change the output. Let me create pixel length pixel length type tree for output.
Okay.
New type tree. Record number. How many records? Then that should be item. Let it change to item supply and number into the size should be 1 pixel. So I put some 5 units. I need
Fine.
0
Pad also. Okay.
value 0 pixel size. Like justify apply pad to or let it be any context so that it will apply the pad irrespective of the group. So it is just added value, yes, added to pixel size 5. The next one is volume. So class should be item subclass text size maximum 2 characters. If there is no data, check it highest pixel speed length. Next so we created 3 views. Let me change to records. Let it be implicit because now in the previous example yesterday visa we applied back to fixed group here instead of any context.
Okay.
So if we give fixed group, the group property should be fixed group. Now we given any context. Any context means irrespective of the group properties, it will apply the padding. That is the meaning. So now
Okay.
we'll see whether we will apply the padding or not. Okay.
Okay.
Now we are not giving fixed group. Just I have given
Okay.
basic. And but in the item level, I have given any context.
Any contest. Okay.
And let
So
us
the format is
yeah. And let us CRL. And we have to add the components to record. So record is having record number, record qualifier, record name. Let's okay. No file. File is multiple save it. Okay, let me add. Let's change the component Can you directly drag and drop as previous example? Awesome. Right.
No,
Shall I write
because it's
lookup of record where record, sorry, I think output also got changed. Sorry, input. Because I change all cases. Would you like to replace all similar? Then you have to go more so that it will be mentioned. Lookup of record N1 record, right?
okay.
So this like this also you can write copy and paste. See here instead of drag and drop. ENT ID qualifier, copy, place it here, control V. Equals to yes. Whether this rule will work or we have to do something.
No, the functional map we need to create because these two are different.
So we have to write the
Functional map.
my requirement is here I have to pass the record number. So it's like how many number of times? Like 1, 2, 3. It has to get increment sequentially, and then from input I have to map the qualifier and then name field. This is my
Yes.
experiment. So how can you do that?
Creating functional map.
So functional map. So I have to extract all the records. It's not like particular qualifier. So yes, create record. So what should be the first argument?
The input N1.
Certain?
N1 record, N1 segment record.
Yeah, N1 segment. Why? Because this is the multiple occurrence. Then any second argument is required. I have to map here.
No. The output card.
Pardon?
Output card.
Do I need to
output card.
here?
Yeah, output card. This sorry, they have type tree. Output type tree. Comma.
You won't pass it here, right? For output type tree. Only input arguments we will pass here.
Yeah, sorry.
So do you want to pass anything?
Yeah, two arguments should have.
Huh?
2 arguments should have, right?
Pardon?
2 argument.
What is that second argument? Why do you? Is it mandatory to pass 2 arguments?
Maybe not.
See, if you can pass n number of arguments, you can pass only this argument. That means you are passing only input n1 segment. So when you enter it, when you create function map wizard, it is showing one output card. What is output? Lookup of MTT record. We are writing the rule at this level. So it is showing record type is a record. Similarly, for input, we have used this and we selected the pass n1 segment. Okay. But our mapping, what I told, the record number should be mapped to sequential number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how can you achieve that? So there is function called index. So the second argument we have to pass
index of
dollar.
Okay.
So that it will return the index 1, 2, 3 for every execution of this functional map. You can achieve this. Now let me go function map to the. See here, this is yellow color now.
Okay.
Why? We have used the built-in function which is not present anywhere in the type tree.
Okay.
There is no which type it has to use. So now we have to edit, select this. We have to give any type tree and number field. So let me give number field which is present in the lookup. So lookup out, it is you can give record number. Why? Because this is integer field. Index dollar will return the integer number. See now
Okay.
it came to green color.
Hmm. Okay.
Create it. So if it is not in green color, you can't create it. I shouldn't have. I should. Okay, let me tell you. If there is any error, you can't create the function map wizard. See, function map. See, create is disabled. You can't create it.
Okay. So
Only
we can only edit.
yeah, edit and then only you can. The other way is you can reset it. You can by you can reset it. You can create, but it will not be having second input cut. Only valid things will create. See here, second. Second one is showing error.
Okay.
Manually, you can create it. Index type tree got stuck. So again, we have to remove.
Oh, Eclipse gone.
That's crashed.
Yes.
You had
It
breakfast.
will all. Sorry.
Breakfast.
Uh, yeah, little bit. Yeah,
Pardon?
a little bit. Yeah, had
Oh, you had a.
morning. You need to have.
Yeah. Actually,
Okay. Then maybe we can stop by 10.
yeah, well, we'll take break for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fine.
Okay. We'll come back.
Yeah, okay.
అయ్యయ్యో ఏంటి బా ఏంటన్నా కూర్చో కబుర్లు ఇంకో यार कल मुझे So now we'll create this functional map. So we can reset it and then create it. So here it will show input 2 is invalid. So we go again, select the type. So you have to select the integer field. So now it is valid. So what is, you can put the name and meaningful name like heading segment. Index. So the functional map is having 2 input cards and 1 output card. Even you can rename the input number like so now you can map what is record number. Record number is
X, okay.
under the qualifier. You can map the qualifier. Then name field. So this how we can do the mapping. So now we go to functional main method. We are writing the function map. We are writing the function map at record level. We are passing all N1 record and index. Now let's
Okay.
do it in the output. We have completed that. See here. It is started with zeros. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where is our input? See, our third record is not having qualifier and name. Right?
Okay.
But the
Yeah.
record is valid record. That's why the function map got executed, but there is no qualifier and name. That's why it is started with spaces.
3. Okay.
See, it is flat. This is two length qualifier. This is 5 and the last one is 25.
Okay.
Now, so end of line. Suppose the requirement is create this record, output record, only when name is present. Okay,
Okay.
I have to create the records only when name is present. So, how can you do that?
Only when name is present.
Pardon?
Uh,
I told right. So the requirement is create the record only when name is present. So what should you do? What should you check?
name field, right?
Using which function?
Present.
Yes, correct. So using condition if present,
Present.
that is you have to check. So if present, if present of name, then this is the true condition. If we have create functional map, then I mean else condition is none. So it is not required. You can even if you put none by default, it will create the function map only if present name. So for every record, it will check the name. If the name is present, then only it will go for the function map. So this is the true condition. We haven't put else
True
condition.
false condition.
Not like mandatory to put else condition always. If there is no else, that means
Okay.
none. No need
Okay.
to do the mapping. That is the meaning. So it
Okay.
create this rule. So previously, irrespective of the just we are mapping for N1 segment where there is no condition. Now we added the condition. If name is present, then only create a record. So it will go in. It will call the functional map only if there is name.
Okay.
Clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now build a map. Now thought the one record will not be created. Third record will not get created. See,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
because you see our there is no name field. Now let me delete name. So only 3 records should come in the as per type B. If the qualifier is present, there should be name field. That's why it is showing one or more input invalid. Now
Okay.
3 records should come. Only 3 records.
Yes.
See here index 1, 2, 3.
3.
Getting into
Okay.
okay, now the other situation again. See, the functional map will execute if there is data for all the argument. Suppose there is no data for one of the argument, still it will not execute. You got my point? Suppose I have passed
Ye-
one more argument. Say, assume that first argument is N1 segment, second argument is index, third argument is something. I'll pass something hard coded value. Okay,
Okay.
so now when I build this map, what will happen? Will there be any error?
Yeah, because one extra
One extra
ag-
argument is not,
verb.
but there is
Yeah. Argue.
number of arguments for functional map is incorrect. Number specified 3, but number required 2. We have specified 3 arguments, but the functional map is having only 2
2.
input cards.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose
So we need to
so now we have to add the third input card if at all not at avoid. Okay, yeah, fine. Now suppose if one of the argument is null, this functional map won't execute.
yes. Okay.
So now is there any other way to check this condition? If present of
Absent.
name field. So if the name field is present, we have to create the output. Now what we have done, we have used the if present condition. So instead of using if present, is there any other way to write the functional map for that condition? The clue is functional map will execute only if there is data for all the arguments. So is there any way to avoid this if present condition, but I have to achieve the output? Only name is present, then only I have to create the output. So is there any other way? I am giving the clue also. Functional map will execute only if data is present for all the arguments.
Absent.
Pardon? No. The clue is functional map will execute only if data is present for all the arguments. I don't want to use if present absent, but I need to achieve my requirement. Any guess?
Lookup.
No. Tell me how will you write?
No, I don't know.
Okay. See, if I pass the third argument as name and if I delete this if present, so what will happen? So what is this meaning? Now,
3 arguments are there, right?
pardon?
3 argument is there, right?
Not getting.
No, 3 arguments are there, right? Index and dollar.
Arguments are there. So for every time, for every record, here record will be passed, here index will be passed, here name of the card will be passed. Suppose if there is no name, this functional map won't execute. Correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
So you no need to write the if present. So this is one of the way to optimize the rule. So instead of if present, always you have to write like this functional map. You can pass the argument. Suppose if you are writing at group level, if it is at item level, if it is simple condition, you can do that if present. But here entire record has not. Here anyway we have already functional map. So again, why do we need to if present? If already functional map is there, you no need to write if present. You can directly pass that argument so that map performance will be optimized. Good, very good. Because if function will take some time, present condition will take time, it will check the condition, it will take some time. Instead of that, you can simply pass the name field. But anyway, we are meeting our requirement. So now we have to pass the third input card. Third input card is name, and a type P is text field. You can use any text field. You got it? Or you have any question here?
No, I didn't get it.
Pardon?
I didn't get that.
You didn't. Which point you didn't get?
This one, 3, adding 3 input.
I mean, why you add the 3 or how to add the 3 here?
Why we add the 3?
See, this what I told. This function map will execute only data for all the 3 arguments are. I mean, data is present for all the 3 arguments.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if for any of the argument data is null, this won't create. This functional map will not execute. So,
yes.
Instead of checking data is present, if present of name field, instead of checking if condition present, I pass the name field here. So that what will happen? Here every record, this function map will execute only if name is present.
Okay.
So I have avoided if function, present function.
Okay.
Not
Got it. Yeah, got it.
so I have instead of using if present of name, I passed the name as an argument, so that this function map will execute only if data is present for name field in every record. How this function map will execute? This function map will execute for every record. Let me debug and show you how to. So now, now also output will be same. See, only three records. Suppose so now this is input. It is having 1, 2, 3, 7 records, but output is only 3 records. Why? The name is present for only 3 records.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, suppose if I delete the name field and as well as record, what will be the output? What is your out? What will be the output now?
All right.
Huh? How much? See, analyze the what is this function of analyze the rule. What I am doing.
You're passing two function like the index, like the count,
But then
index of
can
this.
you be clear is
No, index of this, right?
yes.
So it's like the five inputs
You mean to say output will be same as
input.
input, correct? Because we don't have any condition. We haven't run it.
Yeah.
See, total 7. Here
So
also 7 records. Here also 7. Got it?
yes.
So you can. This is one of the way of optimizing the map. If there is
Okay.
functional map, instead of writing the rule if present, you can pass as an argument.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now go inside functional map. Here, how can I want the requirement is the name field should be mapped as name plus description. I mean concatenate the description and name fields.
Yeah.
So for concatenation, we have to use the plus symbol. So by using plus symbol, it will do the concatenation for text fields. This for same plus, if you use for number fields, it will do the addition.
Addition.
For
Yeah.
number fields, it will act as a addition. For text fields, the plus symbol will act as a concatenation.
Yes.
See now, data is coming. It is concatenated the this field, description field. Vendor test one, test two, test three.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
See, observe in the output type tree. Previously, we have given group property explicit fixed, and item level we have given apply pair to fixed group. But now,
Fixed. Okay.
if you see the output type tree, we have given record property as implicit.
Implicit.
Not
Yeah, I saw that.
component syntax here, implicit.
Yes.
But whereas field level, where I given apply pair to any context, irrespective of the group properties, it will apply the pattern. So this
Okay.
applying the pattern irrespective of the group. Any context means if group property should no need to be a fixed group. But whereas if we group you here fixed group, your group should be a fixed group, explicit fixed.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So now, okay. For example, same example. Here, I need to create the output where qualifier is VN. So how will you write the rule?
Qualifier is VN.
Yes. I have to create the output where I have to create one occurrence of output where input qualifier is VN. How can you do the mapping?
If condition.
Okay, tell me how. Tell me
If
how.
present.
If
No, like what is here this thing? Can you repeat again?
I have to create the output record where
Uh-huh.
input N1 qualifier is VN. I have to create only one output record. Even though it
Yeah,
has
if
multiple records with VN, I don't need multiple. I need only one.
if present
If present,
that input,
if present of, okay,
if present the
if
input comma
present of, okay,
the input the
input
N1 segment record
in one segment, okay,
comma
okay,
N1 segment no, in name field equal to
where should I write?
the, the, I think there only
If,
present
okay,
uh,
if present, okay, name field
equal to this one.
equals to,
The VN, right? What you do?
no, I told for qualifier, okay,
Oh, qualifier. Entity, okay.
okay, no. What is this rule meaning?
Equal to VN.
Okay, then
Mhm.
what is this meaning? If present of N1 segment, what does that mean? If N1 segment is present, what should you do?
Where,
What are you doing?
where,
Uh-huh.
where entity qualifier equal to?
Where?
No, like check for entity qualifier equal to this entity CD qualified field equal to VN.
Yeah, tell me the rule. How will, because I covered all the, for this requirement I covered the functions. Where you want me to write? Tell me the complete. If present of N1 segment, what you are doing? You are doing nothing. Empty was equals to be. What is if condition? It will evaluate the condition. If it is
Mm-hmm.
true, it will go. It will return these things. If it is false, it will return. But what is this rule? You are not returning. You are just giving something. Entity code equals to BN.
Yeah, I'm not returning right.
Okay. See. And
Equal,
what is our requirement? I have to create the output record where input qualifier is VN. Even though input is having multiple VNs, I have to create only once.
one, yeah.
That means I have to use the lookup. It's very simple, like we have already seen. So instead of the
Okay.
functional map, we can do the lookup. Lookup of N1 segment where qualifier equals to VN.
Okay. No.
So my functional map first argument is n1 record where qualifier equals to vn, so that this function map will always execute only once. Why? Because this lookup will return only one value, and the second argument is index. Clear?
Okay.
Because this what is
Yes.
the lookup? Lookup will always return the first matching criteria. Even though there are 10 occurrence matching criteria, it will return only first value, first matching.
Okay. So lookup is fast. Like we can use if also, right?
Where
Here
tell
instead.
me where you want to use, inside the functional map or outside the functional map?
Okay, inside outside we can. Okay.
Outside?
Oh, in the no, inside the function maybe.
Okay, inside functional map, tell me how if.
No. Instead of lookup, can we create it? I don't know.
Wait. Now tell me, inside functional map,
Yeah.
tell me, how can you write the if? Now tell me your views, even if it is correct or not, no worry. What is your thought?
Just I'm thinking
Yeah, okay.
if
You take your time, don't time.
then uh, can't we write this way? If present of this n1 segment
You
equal
present the
to yeah, if present of this condition like look instead of lookup like giving value in lookup, we can we write that way?
no, tell me where inside a functional map.
Uh no.
No, tell me, if
In
present
the
n1
in
segment.
the record in the records equal yeah, sorry.
Huh?
Inside function maybe
Okay. If
if present of this,
mm,
if it is if present then return
if present the
uh, this condition. Can we write that way?
n1 segment, where
No, sorry. Can we evaluate the full condition if present equal to n1 that way in present?
tell what is that?
No, remove that where. Remove the where.
Okay,
Can we write that way?
relevant.
This way, this way.
No.
Then
How can you
uh,
write? What is the meaning? This is one n1 segment. This is a segment. What should be there in between? What should I put between this group and this field?
or
R. How can you put R? What is the meaning of R?
FLLS,
What you are telling me is present of N1 segment. Okay. Then you are asking to what should I put here? What is the difference? I mean, relation between entity and okay.
no. This way we can put
Yeah, tell me which way.
this one, the way you put the entire thing.
Uh-huh.
This condition we can put that if N1 segment is old condition till Vn
If N1 segment?
till Vn.
No, that's what I'm asking. What should I put here? A present of N1 segment, but you have to put something, right? The relation you have to put some keywords where, but it's
The
not.
where okay.
So here you need to put something, right, between N1 segment and NT code. NT, I mean this item.
Okay, we need to relate that. Okay.
No, it won't accept. That's what I'm telling.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay, got it.
So you have to
Oh, that's why we look up.
yes,
Okay.
look up a N1 segment where qualifier.
Oh, that's where. Okay. Dot.
Because lookup syntax is first argument is N1 segment, the second argument is the I mean condition. Second
This
argument
is comma between that like
comma
after record. That is comma or full stop.
comma
Comma. Okay.
comma. The
Okay.
argument
I.
with comma.
Okay.
Now build the method. Now run. The output should be there is no VN. There is no VN. That's why output is 0 bytes. There is no.
0. Okay.
So now let me put VN. So that 3 records VN record. But because we use the lookup, output will be still it. One more input is invalid. Why? Because if VN is there, we have to put the if qualifier is there, name should be present. That's why it is showing invalid. So now from see the output VN test1 vendor.
Yeah.
So this is first occurrence of record.
Okay.
Suppose if we need all the VN qualifiers, what will you do?
Look up.
Huh?
Sorry, the extract.
So that this function map will execute for all the records where qualifier is VN.
Okay.
Yeah, there are totally 3 records.
Okay.
3 records. So in our previous example, without functional map, we have seen the lookup and extract. But now we have seen along with index using functional map. So I mean to say inside functional map, you can do lookup and extract. It will work same as it is without functional map.
Okay.
Now suppose is present of lookup of your meaning is this. You can write like if you want the if present, you have to still anyway you have to use the lookup. If present of lookup of n1 where qualifier is vn. So what we are doing now? See what we are
Look up then.
if we check lookup of n1 segment vn. If it is
VN, yeah.
present, this function map will execute.
Execute, okay.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, what will be the output? What will be the output? Tell me.
Input equal to output.
Pardon? No, whether this rule will give only one record or three records at output side.
One record. One record.
No, it will give three. Sheet. Now completed successfully. So let me build them. See,
Okay.
why? Because this condition is there, right? If present of lookup. How this rule will execute means for every record it will check the if present of qualifier. The n1 segment is there with vn. For every segment, for every record, it will execute the check the conditions and it will pass the record.
Okay.
So this meaning is if the segment if the record qualifier is vn, then it will create the functional map. That is the meaning.
Okay.
But whereas if you write the same lookup inside the functional map, it will execute only once.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful. Based on your requirement, you can do like this. So always avoid the if present. When already if you have functional map, always use either pass argument, use the lookup extract.
Okay.
Present of name. So how can you avoid? You can pass name as the argument, so that if the data is present, then only function map will execute. Similarly, here also, if you want the first occurrence, do the lookup inside the function map. If you want all the, use extract function.
Okay. Yeah.
If there is any syntax error, it will show error. Now it shows right. End of rule expected. If there is no brackets near, if the brackets are missed like that.
Okay. The space are allowed, right? Spaces are allowed, right? Equal to.
So clear, right? Up to now?
Yes. Yeah.
So what is the difference between lookup, extract? How can you do the string concatenation? So how can you do the string two piece concatenation? I mean combine. How will you open?
Plus, right?
Using?
Plus sign.
Yeah, correct. Similarly, how will you do the addition for number? Using plus only.
Plus sign.
Okay. Now what will you do? Cover lookup, extract, and also I covered if present. I've seen component rules. Okay. Okay, next we will see identifier attribute in the type tree. Okay?
Okay.
We haven't covered, right? Identifier attribute.
No.
Okay, we'll see that identifier. We'll get the Example type is how identify. See, identifier attribute as already told, which is used to identify the records based on the component present in the. But suppose if your message structure is having three records, header, detail, and LNE. Yesterday, how we identified those three records?
Okay.
You remember yesterday we created one file structure which will be having header, detail, LNE records. How we identified all three records?
With the initiator, right?
Initiator, correct. So the other way of using records without initiator is using the identifier attribute. We'll put identifier for one of the component and we will say we'll write the component code. Okay? This value should be so and so something. We'll see that example. Okay.
Okay.
You install WTX in your system.
Yeah.
You started working.
Yes.
Exercise. Whatever
Yeah.
covering and your own also you can take some examples
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
so that you will get some doubts and also that it, you won't. You suppose if we keep on, if I'm going keep on teaching, if you are just listening, it will be like you are able to understand. But after some point of time, you will get doubts and you will forget everything. Instead of that, if
Yeah.
you
Okay.
keep on doing
Mm.
exercise, you will remember everything.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You're right.
We'll put this decimal. Remember presentation decimal and we put separator yes because for decimal places will come.
Presentation. Yeah.
What is this meaning? First one.
Two decimal. Two decimals. After the integer, two decimals.
No.
Two zeros. Two zeros. Are there. Optional. Sorry. Okay.
Correct. This is optional decimal. This
Optional.
is
Okay.
mandatory.
Command.
Next one is this is thousand syntax. This is comma, this is dot. First one is comma. This is thousand syntax. This is dot. This is comma. This is dot. This is this is dot. So
Yes.
if we put in bracket, this is optional.
Optional.
This is dot. See here. Suppose I select this one, it will ask two syntax. See here, 1000 syntax is comma, fraction syntax is dot, because we select
Dot.
1000 syntax and fraction syntax.
Okay. That's optional also.
Yeah. Now if we select only this, only fraction syntax will come. 1000 syntax won't come because we selected the format only for fractions.
Fraction. Yeah.
Now for record we create 3 records like yesterday. So should be cache free. Let me create group. Now we'll create XCC. Fine. Now yesterday example we have given the initiator, right?
Initiator. Yeah.
Initiator. Now we won't give initiator terminator. Okay, let me create syntax also. Syntax. Not change. Give what header, give instruction header, give variable, then we have to ask equal, give header, then item. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I think I haven't selected syntax. Item subclass should be syntax.
Theory left, right?
Yeah. Now go to header. It's not reflected. Let me close this. See here, even though I changed the syntax, it's not coming. Even the name, see here, terminator I have given, but it's showing here new type one. Sometimes changes won't reflect. In that case, you have to close it and refresh the workspace, or sometimes we need to close the workspace, enter WTX all. It's not opening.
I need to restart.
Yeah. now reflected.
Yes, now.
Type syntax. Now terminator. Now see, now it's coming. Terminator syntax. Fine should be yes. Now we'll add record name, invoice ID, invoice ID, next item, next item quantity. Save page. 0 to something happened to my templates now. Okay, let it now header. So now we have created the header. Where I added it is complete. It's not working. I think I have got some problem in system.
Something in cache, man.
Now it's good.
Now you can drag and drop.
Something I think some left keyboard is something got pressed. It's selecting multiple items. See,
Okay. Uh-huh.
selecting some keyboard. Okay. Now, yesterday, set the terminator, right? Like that yesterday we given the initiator to identify the header
Yes.
record. Now I have
Yes.
given the record name. So using identifier attribute, how can you do this mean? You can write See, here we can set the identifier and we can write the component rule saying that dollar yes dollar. Give me 1 minute. I'll connect the keyboard. It's not working my laptop. 1 minute. I'll get in.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, now let me create. I'll tell you what is that. Let me create the detail. This is also not working.
I think it might be the studio problem, right?
Huh?
Design studio problem. It's not the keyboard problem, I think.
It's not design. It's not design studio. Even keep. I'm typing something. It is typing. See,
Okay.
when I'm trying to something in the notepad, it is coming in DC2. I'm typing something alphabet. Something changed. Okay, let me restart my system. Okay.